Hey, what's going, y'all? It's yours truly once again. Well, I've noticed this trend more or less of obviously uh, men ignoring females just so they can get laid because most of these females are living out their female nature, living their best life now. And I want to get into further meaning of that quote, living the best life now, because it's very demonic. Very satanic, but we'll talk about that down the road. I'll probably bring that up in my part 2 of ignoring the succubus, which it's almost ready. I promise you. For those who've been waiting on the part 2 of ignore the succubus, this video more or less just talks about the demeanors, if you will. So, okay. Of course, in the ignore the succubus part 1, I more or less just talked about how men are being basically taught, or being they listen to people that tell them to ignore females just in order to get laid, because these females, that's what they like, this nature of the bad boy who ignores them, when really that bad boy is just an incubus. The succubus is attracted to the incubus. So why are you acting like an incubus if you're not an incubus? You're a gentleman. Stay a gentleman, not a bad boy, okay? And that goes into what I'm about to talk about now. So, okay, that's just from the standpoint of ignoring the female to get laid, basically. Now we're going to talk about ignoring women, because there's a difference between female and women. So now this is taken a step further, because now it's not just about ignoring a female to get laid. It's now ignoring women in order for them to build something with you. That, to me, right there is like a red flag, because it's like, okay, there's a difference between the female and the woman. So therefore, it seems nowadays real women have to gravitate to this reality that there are some men out there who just will kind of be a little harsh with them upon meeting them, because that man now, he kind of has to put her on the radar, just like at the same time he has to be assuming that this woman is going to act like another female that's going to put him through one of her crap tests, if you will. I got to keep things PG on my channel. So, yeah, she's going to put him through a crap test. He thinks this way. A real woman doesn't put a man through a crap test, but of course he has this notion, because this is what he went through a lot during his blue pill days. And now as a red pillar, he sees everything for what it is, more or less based on what he went through. And of course, if he's black pilled with it, he sees that things are only going to get worse with these crap tests that these females will continue to put men through. So most men have just resulted to just ignoring women just as well as females, because he really doesn't know what he's going to get. It's just like when Forrest Gump pulled out that box of chocolate. When he put that box of chocolate on his lap, that's pretty much what it's like in reality these days. A man really doesn't know what he's going to get, if he's going to get a real woman or if he's going to get another typical female who's possessed by the succubus spirit. He doesn't know this. So he has to have this, basically this blank wall approach, which I try to avoid that. I try to read signs early on so that I know if she's playing games, I ignore her at that particular moment. I deal with her from a distance. And there are different levels to this. There really are. But I try to stay on the high ground, if you know what I mean. So, okay, so what do I mean by the difference between how men ignore females and how men are now ignoring real women? Okay, well, from the jump, it's more or less the man is treating the woman like these females, these succubus females. He's not wanting her to call him all the time. He's not wanting her to stay in touch with him all the time, because it's like, okay, I'm just with her to get laid. I'm just with her to do this, and I don't know if she's trying to build with me or not, so I'm not going to stay in touch with her. From personal experience, I could tell you right now, this is not true, because a real woman will stay in touch with you. She, and I value that. For me, if a real woman is not, if A woman that's not staying in touch with me, that's not a real woman. That's just another female. I ignore that female. I keep it moving. She's just another pump and dump situation. I get it. I'm not pump and dump. I like to build with real women. I don't like to pump and dump with females. I'm not about that, okay? So that right there is, to me, how I set the bar, how I set the standard. You know, I let a female know right away, I like real women. I like a woman that stays in touch with me. You know, the whole idea is that I know she's going to be there, you know, when I call her, or, you know, I know she's going to call me, and, you know, we're going to build on that. We're going to see each other. You know, we're going to spend time together. It's not just going to be that whenever she's available or whenever I ignore her, maybe she'll just try to chase me down, and maybe we could work on spending time, and that, you know, it makes me a weak man if I'm trying to seek her attention and giving her validation and putting her on a pedestal. We got a lot of these things backwards these days, man. I'm still a gentleman at the end of the day, but overall, I realize going forward, I don't know if the female is there in my way or if the real woman is there in my way. I know the difference now. I can tell the difference. Now in public, this becomes a little more difficult to detect. You know, I understand, like, online dating has pretty much made our realities warped. We live in an augmented reality, if you will. That's really what we live in on a regular basis. When you see these chicks out and about in the public, man, they're pretty much depicted of what they've learned through the media. A lot of them want to be Tatianas on the regular. Tatiana is an augmented reality type of a personnel, if you know what I mean. And a lot of these chicks have gravitated to that. They've gravitated to this whole living my best life now. The last thing I need to hear is a man saying, I'm living my best life now. This is a thought statement, man. Thoughts say that. And I'm gonna get more into that in a separate video. So, but yeah, recently I went to a bank and I was trying to open the door for this female, and she looked at me so vindictively, like I'm supposed to do that, like you're under me. She had this very elitist type of look in her eye when I opened the door for her. And I said, you know what? This is the sign of the times, man. You know, I can go into further detail with what I mean by this, but this is not the time or the place. But she just had this elitist look in her eyes when I opened the door. And I just said, you know what? I said to myself, I'll never do that again. And what I mean by that is, if she's not the woman in my life, she's just another typical female out there. I'm not going to open the door no more for females that I do not know, okay? I'm only going to open the door for women in my life so that you see that there's a difference. This woman that's in my life has earned that right for me to open the door for her, for me to take care of her, for me to make good love to her, for me to make sure that she's provided for in all those things, you know. Just in public, though, no. So I don't care. I know it's going to be kind of a harsh thing for even real women out there. But just know that if you see a righteous man and he doesn't open the door for, you know, just know that he's just doing that because of these females out here, not because of you. So don't take it personal, you know. But I'd say if you find that gentleman attractive, per se, I'd say just try to maybe approach him, you know, and then he could probably follow up. You know, usually a man will follow up on the whole door opening situation, and you can get more insight to, wow, you know, yeah, it's crazy out here. You know, we live in the era of the Me Too movement, and it's just really jacked up out here. So to me, chivalry isn't dead, but I am very cautious about my chivalry, because